This is Standing Watch. And now, Evangelist Norbert Link.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome back to our Standing Watch program. The most recent tweets of President Trump have caused some kind of condemnation by many corners, but also some very ill-advised consequences. At the same time, evaluations which are most certainly not in line with what is really happening. Of course, I'm talking about President Trump's tweets as they are described in the week dated July 14, that he tweeted that progressive Democratic Congresswomen should go back and help fix the totally broken and crime-infested places from which they came. The paper points out that Trump was almost certainly talking about the group known as the Squad. But 3 of the 4 members of the Squad were born in the United States, so they could go back to Cincinnati, Detroit, and New York. And 1 was born in Somalia and came to the United States as a refugee. Now, before I go on and talk about what these tweets actually have done and are doing, let me just say that the condemnation has been made that these were racist comments. Now, with all due respect, I don't consider them to be racist at all. And at all. It was pointed out that President Trump is a racist because he has also talked about President Obama not being born in this country, and therefore this was a racist comment because Obama is black. Now again, with all due respect, President Obama is black and white. And I dare to say that if the same conditions had existed and the accusation would have been made against Hillary Clinton, President Trump would have said the same thing. With these 4 congresswomen, I don't believe the issue was whether they were white or not white. He was talking about policy. He was talking about what they were standing for. Now, some have said he did do himself a great disservice because the Democratic Party was divided, and now in making these attacks, the Democratic Party became unified in support of those 4 congresswomen. But again, I also disagree with that one. Something much more fundamental is happening here. The Week also wrote in the same article on July 14, Republican members of Congress said nothing when President Trump told minority congresswomen to go back to where they came from. And then they say Trump knows he can say whatever he likes and face no consequences from the party he has conquered. No modern president, besides George W. Bush, immediately after the 9/11 attacks, has enjoyed such popularity with Republican voters. And I believe that is exactly what President Trump knew and had in mind. He knew what he was saying. He knew what he was doing. He was addressing the Republican Party, not the Democrats. He knew the Democrats wouldn't vote for him anyway. The Guardian agreed. They wrote on July 16, the president seems to regard divisive rhetoric as his best chance of staying in the White House. Analysts say he might be right. Trump is breaking from every previous incumbent president in modern times by not even attempting to reach across the divide and broaden his coalition. Immigration and border security is said to be the defining issue. And then they say, under Trump, the Republican coalition has become overwhelmingly centered on the voters and the parts of the country that are most uneasy with demographic change. And what's striking is how few Republicans, however much they may grumble privately, have been willing to stand up against his redefinition of the party. Many seem willing to ride this tiger into the 2020 contest. And that is exactly what is happening. The leading Republicans have not in any way criticized President Trump for his comments. Some have even defended his comments. More and more, newspapers, magazines, commentators are telling us now that it is likely that President Trump will be re-elected. I say the same thing, except I'm not saying it's likely. I'm saying very dogmatically he's going to be re-elected. I have said, when President Trump made his announcement, at that time Donald Trump, that he would run for president, that he would be the next president. People have told me you're crazy. That's never going to happen. Remember the scene when he came down on the elevator in the Trump Tower to make his announcement? And then there was a big debate and a controversy between him and the Republican Party because he wasn't willing to commit to running as a Republican and submitting to the Republicans' decision unless they treat him nicely, as he said. But where is that controversy today? It simply doesn't exist. The week is absolutely right. He has conquered the Republican Party, or to put it in a different way, the Republican Party has submitted to him, virtually reassuring his re-election. And I'm saying right now he's going to be re-elected. But you see, I'm not just looking at these human trends, I'm looking at the Bible. President Trump at one time said, there is nobody who loves the Bible more than he does. Of course, that is typical Trump hyperbole. But I'm looking at the Bible. I'm looking at biblical prophecy. Even when I made the comment that he would be the president, I strictly looked at biblical prophecy, and I knew and I could see there was nobody around who would fulfill biblical prophecy in the way that he would fulfill it. And he has already fulfilled many biblical prophecies while in office. But he still has a job to do. He is going to fulfill even more. And that is why he's going to be re-elected. He is going to stay in office to fulfill those prophecies. Other candidates then and now would not be in a position to do so. Now, again, people totally misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm not making any determination, and I'm not talking about character. I'm not saying he is to fulfill prophecy because of his character. Character has nothing to do with it. God is the one who is in charge, and he puts people in place who are necessary for a particular point in time to bring about biblical prophecy. Adolf Hitler, Mussolini, they came to power in order to fulfill the prophecy of reviving the ancient Roman Empire for the 9th time. God says many times he puts people in power because they are of the lowest of men. And he's not talking about humility. But you see, sometimes he puts people in power who are of noble character, like David. See, but the point is, I'm not talking about it either way. I'm talking about what President Trump has to fulfill, and he is going to fulfill it. And if you want to know what that is, and if you want to know what he has already done in the light of biblical prophecy, we have 2 free booklets which we would like to offer to you. One is the 10 European revivals of the ancient Roman Empire. And this booklet also points out that in Europe a beast power will arrive. And this beast power is going to be ruled by a charismatic political leader who is going to be placed in power to bring about the last revival of the ancient Roman Empire. And then we have another booklet prepared, very fresh and new. How can we know that Christ's return is near? Does this booklet tell us anything about President Trump's role? Yes, it does. And so you need to have those 2 free booklets, and I ask you to please order free copies for you to read them, because they will open your eyes and will also show you that we are much closer to the second coming of Jesus Christ than many will realize. Thank you very much for listening. This is Norbert Link for the Standing Watch program.
Standing Watch is a presentation by The Church of the Eternal God, P.O. Box 270519, San Diego, California 92198. More information is also available at our website, eternalgod.org.